All right, good morning, folks. Today is Thursday, April 7th. Welcome to First Things First, Simply Cyber's daily morning cybersecurity threat briefing. I'm your host, Gerald Auger, and over the next 30 minutes, I'll be delivering the top cybersecurity news stories of the day and providing expert analysis on each of these stories. What it means to you as a practitioner, or if you're looking to break into the industry. Shout out and thanks to this stream's sponsor, Barricade Cyber Solutions, your partner for incident response, ransomware protection, and business recovery. If you're live, I see the chat coming in. Love it, love it, love it. Thanks for being here and being part of the First Things First community. If you're watching on replay, thank you for catching the stream. I genuinely appreciate it. And if you want to jump right to the news, when the ticker in the corner gets to 0, we will start the briefing. Feel free to scrub right to the 0 and dive in. But for the next 2 minutes and 48 seconds, I'll be welcoming folks into the stream. All right, everybody, welcome. I love it. Love it when it's live. Love seeing all you. Usha, what's up? Nicholas Pierce, Rob Dalton, Michael Taylor, what's up? Marion, good morning to you. Yes, what's up, Kimberly, Jess Bishop, longtime Simply Cyber community members. Ryan Spishak, good morning. Good to see you every day on our live streams. Hey, Pamela, hope things are well. Yeah, let's see. We got a big day. It is Stream Thursday, so some of you may have caught Java with Josh earlier today as he's working through the CAS Plus certification for advanced security professionals. He's doing great work there. I see Josh right there in chat. Congrats to Rob Dalton. Way to go, Rob. I'll have to go back and watch in chat what happened. Love, guys, I really genuinely appreciate that we're able to celebrate each other's wins and victories as a community, either live and in chat or on Discord. It's part of the whole, not just networking, but having a community, right? That's what we're doing here. And love seeing it every time I see the congrats come rolling in chat. Cracking me up. What's up? Good morning. I'm absolutely loving it. Christopher Kane, good to see you. School went well this morning, teaching those cadets all about vulnerability scanning and how, you can use it for good and you can use it for bad. Looked at some Shodan, all that good stuff. Going to be collaborating with Dr. Chase Cunningham. For those of you who may know Dr. Chase Cunningham, aka Dr. Zero Trust, going to be collaborating with him next week. I'm looking forward to that. Corey Crook just bought the GRC analyst course. Thanks for supporting Simply Cyber, and I hope you get value out of it. We have somebody must have shared it on a Telegram channel last night at like midnight or something, because I got up this morning. I get an email every time someone enrolls in the school, and I had many new emails when I woke up this morning. So I'm super pumped that it's being shared out there with the greater community. Tom Zacher, good to see you. Pedro, what's up, UK friend? We're going to see how the UK handles themselves on April 15th. InfoSec Live, which is Simon Lindsted's group over in the UK, will be playing against me, Heads Up, and ThreatGen Red versus Blue. If you've been following me for a while, I play the Red versus Blue cybersecurity simulation platform, typically against an AI active adversary, but I'll be playing Heads Up against Clint Bodungeon and Simon Lindstedt on April 15th live on Simply Cyber. So you guys can catch that if you're interested in that. All right, guys, it looks like we got to 0. So enough pleasantries. Let us do what we do every morning. You know the routine, y'all. If you want to follow along, mods do a great job of dropping the links to the stories in chat. But for your own personal knowledge and awareness, you can go to cisoseries.com. This is where we get our stories and podcasts. David Spark, his entire group over there, do excellent work, and we appreciate them not giving us a hard time about piggybacking on top of this. Thanks for the sub, Mark Joseph. Let's get into the news, guys.
CISO series, it's cybersecurity headlines.
Thanks for the sub, Richa Sharma.
It's Thursday, April 7th, 2022. U.S. disrupted Russian botnet. Attorney General Merrick Garland announced the government officials disrupted a botnet built by the Sandworm hacking group linked to Russia's GRU intelligence agency. Sandworm had previously been blamed for attacks against Ukraine's electrical grid back in 2015 and the NotPetya attacks in 2017. This botnet used Cyclops Blink code to target WatchGuard Technologies' Firebox firewall hardware and was also able to infect some ASUS network hardware. Garland said the government believed it took down the botnet before it could be weaponized to perform any malicious activity.
Wow. Okay. So a couple of things here really quickly. Way to go, United States. Got a win for us. I haven't read the book, but I've heard fantastic things about the book Sandworm. So check into that. It sounds like it's a Russian APT, a very sophisticated piece of malware. In this instance, there was a botnet being built out. They're calling it Cyclops Blink. Now, here's the deal with that. The value of a botnet is that you can infect many systems and like lay dormant, right? They're basically zombies or bots waiting for a command from the bot master or from, the bot farmer, herder, whatever you want to call it, like the C2 infrastructure, command and control. The US had to get a court order to coordinatedly remove these bot malware from compromised endpoints, which indicates to me that they got the court order because they were basically going to, I don't want to say exploit, but access victimized, compromised systems and effectively remove the malware or effectively patching it, right? So the US went in and touched other people's computers and removed it. Now, I don't know if it's going to be a secret court order, so you don't know whose machines got impacted and then touched or whatever. We saw something similar to this. Well, hold on. The United States made the decision, right or wrong, that it was more of a national security threat to have the Sandworm botnet and in this instance, whether it was alleged or proven, I'm not sure, that the Russian APT or the GRU could weaponize that botnet. That was more of a national security risk than going in and touching people's machines and uninstalling it. And the last thing I'll say is we saw something similar to this by the FBI at the end of or the early of 2021, late 2020, I believe. Some of you may remember this. There was like a massive exchange 40 days. It had a clever marketing name. I can't remember it. But the FBI went in and just straight up patched tons of people's machines. And it was like, whoa. Is that an overreach of your, scope of authority? But, people had the argument in cybersecurity discourse communities around, well, you were really, really exposed. You probably weren't going to fix it yourself. The FBI did you a favor. So, that's a whole philosophical discussion all into itself, whether or not it's okay or not. But way to go, US. We don't need a big weaponized botnet. Read about Sandworm. Key takeaways.
Twitter shadow bans Russian government accounts. The social network announced that it will drastically reduce the chances of people seeing posts from accounts belonging to the Russian government as part of further measures to limit Russia's ability to leverage the platform. This means these accounts won't be suggested to follow or appear in search or explore pages. In an effort not to spread content that risks violating the Geneva Conventions, Twitter will also require the removal of tweets posted by government or state-affiliated media accounts that contain media showing prisoners of war from Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Twitter's head of site integrity, Joel Roth, said there are exceptions to this policy for media that is compelling to the public interest or newsworthy POW content. Twitter will also remove any content showing POWs with abusive intent across all accounts.
Okay, so, this is interesting. Okay, so first of all, shadow ban, as far as I know, a shadow ban is where your account is basically throttled from reach and exposure. You're not, your account isn't officially deleted, blocked, anything like that. It's just your reach doesn't work anymore, right? You hear about all these YouTuber people trying to figure out the algorithm so they can get bigger reach. Shadow ban is basically cutting you off from being able to get that reach. Twitter is a social media company. They are really balancing this fine line between kind of supporting free speech and allowing end user content generation and public discourse. But these nation state threat groups and really big, powerful corporate entities have figured out ways to kind of weaponize Facebook, social media, Twitter, etc., in order to control a narrative or support certain positions on polarizing topics or spread disinformation. And that's what they're saying here. They're shadow banning this particular one, because the Russian state-backed media is trying to push a disinformation campaign, the reason it gets tricky is because who is to decide? Twitter is the one who gets to decide, oh, this is inappropriate, this is not fair, versus this is freedom of speech and all these things, right? That's where it turns into a wild discussion. Ooh, we got a squad member, Chad Reynolds. You give me a little whoa. Thanks for the squad membership. So guys, it really gets dicey when you're trying to decide who gets to control. They say history was written by the victor. That's the reason being that you get to shape it in the way that you want. I don't, it's not an easy task for Twitter or any of these other social media companies. Many of them we read about a couple of weeks ago when the war or the conflict, whatever you want to call it, started, that really they were just pulling out and just not allowing Russia to be able to participate in those platforms. But then you run the risk of not getting that information to the Russian public population. So it's not, there's no easy answer. There's no easy answer.
DOJ charges Russian national with operating Hydra. We reported yesterday that German police seized the servers of the Hydra dark web market. Now the U.S. Justice Department filed charges against a 30-year-old Russian national named Dmitry Olegovich Pavlov, alleging a range of crimes connecting to operating Hydra. Pavlov ran a company called Prom Service Limited, which offered hosting and administrative services for Hydra. The DOJ claims he collected commissions on sales of illicit goods on Hydra worth millions of dollars. The U.S. Treasury also issued sanctions against Hydra and the Estonia-based crypto exchange Garantex this week in the hopes that it will prevent individuals associated with Hydra from cashing out remaining funds.
Okay, so, a couple things on this one. First of all, real quick, I see Lupe getting some love in chat. I'll go back and see what happened, Lupe, but I'm sure it's fantastic, and I'm absolutely pumped for you. Congratulations. Now, the Department of Justice has charged Russian national with operating Hydra. We read yesterday about the takedown of Hydra, big dark web, dark market. Think Silk Road 2.0, et cetera, et cetera. A couple things here. One, you've got to remember this individual who's being charged. When you run a internet-based business, right? Like let's remove what it is and just talk about it as a generic thing. It was an online marketplace. It requires servers, network connectivity, storage, audit logs, application, web servers, redundancy, business continuity, user control, user access, administrator privileges, right? Downtime for patching, right? It is literally just an online business. It's completely illegal and I don't endorse it, but it's just an online business. So you need IT infrastructure, you need an admin, you need someone running backups and patching, right? It's the boring blocking and tackling, but it's just a business. And this individual, this Pavlov who's being charged, was kind of, from what I can tell, the senior IT admin. This marketplace doesn't work unless there's some IT practitioner, frankly, on the back end supporting, doing the work, right? Just like many of us are IT professionals, right? BSEC's a network engineer, does a little bit of cyber stuff, right? Responsible for the IT infrastructure. So that's why this dude is being charged. Now, the one thing that I will point out, and it may seem wonderful on the surface that the Department of Justice is charging them, but here's the reality. This Pavlov dude is probably in a part of the world that it's not going to give him up to the United States, right? A lot of these cyber criminal organizations operate with near immunity by working in Eastern Europe, Western Asia, area, Romania, Belarus, these type of areas, because they're not going to be extradited, and they will often write code and stuff like that that does not attack things in that area of the world. So, I've seen it a bunch of times. The Department of Justice will issue indictments on Iranian nationals and, these Russian nationals, whatever, but they'll never come to justice unless they get on a plane. Sometimes this happens. They get on a plane and they fly to Miami, or they get on a plane and they fly to the Maldives, and there's some type of, FBI agent waiting for you to pick you up and scoot you out. So this is cool. It sets a message, but, we'll see if this person ever actually serves any time or fines or anything for the crime they committed.
Axie Infinity hackers move some funds. We've been
there we go.
covering the story of the hack of Axie Infinity's Ronin network bridge, which saw the game lose roughly $600 million worth of crypto assets. Since this occurred on the Ethereum blockchain, the address where the funds went is known. Stealing the funds is one thing, but laundering them is an entirely separate challenge. Funds are starting to trickle out to other exchanges, with analysts observing about $20 million worth of assets moving to exchanges in the Bahamas and Seychelles last week, and this week, roughly $12 million of assets flowed into a cryptocurrency mixer to obscure sources.
Yep. So we're going to have to talk Charles Finfrock. Yep. We'll have to get into Charles about this. So yeah, guys, guess what? Very few places are accepting Bitcoin or Ethereum or crypto as a currency, right? There's the occasional story where you can buy a Lamborghini in Dubai for crypto. But for the most part, you can't pay your bills. You can't pay your staff. You can't pay your affiliates, all this crap with this. So these hackers are sitting on all this money. Yeah, that's right, Nathan. Straight cash, homie. They're sitting on all this money, but they can't do anything with it, right? So they're starting to launder it. And the blockchain is immutable, people. You can follow it. Now, Charles Finfrock told us about mixers and blenders and movers and shakers and all these other terms that they have that can move money around. But at the end of the day, you should be able to follow each transaction of the money. It could go 40, 50 levels deep of wallets. They could spread $600 million out among 1,000 wallets, but you can track it all. So at some point, when someone's going to try to cash this out, hopefully there's going to be someone waiting there with them, either someone not law enforcement who was hired by Axie in Ronin or whatever to get that money back, or law enforcement. And either way, until you get that money out, there's, good luck.
And now a word from our sponsor, Code 42 Harvesting Apps. Security researchers at AppCensus notified Google about an SDK found in Android apps from the company Measurement Systems, which has corporate and web registration ties to a Virginia defense contractor that does intelligence intercept work for national security agencies. The code was found inside several Muslim prayer apps that have been downloaded over 10 million times, as well as a QR code reader and other popular consumer apps. The researchers found that code allowed Measurement Systems to surreptitiously collect data from users, describing it as the most privacy-invasive SDK they had seen in a mobile app. The researchers also sent a copy of their findings to the FTC. Google says it removed apps containing Measurement Systems software from the Google Play Store on March 25th, although some apps were reinstated after they removed the SDK. The SDK stopped collecting data shortly after the researchers went public, but could be reactivated on devices with already installed apps.
Okay, so I'm seeing a couple people really quick in here saying that crypto can be used in some areas. Gabriel, I think with the PayPal and stuff like that, I mean, at some point, how do you separate yourself from the way of getting the transaction out, right? You would need money mules and stuff like that, or else they can follow the money to the PayPal account that got registered and who owns it. So still a little tricky, but I feel you. Thanks for sharing that, Gabriel. Now, look at this Google app. Okay, this is not Google. This is an app that was in the store. And Kimberly hit the nail right on the head. Guys, basically there was, for lack of to make it easy for this conversation, spyware, right? So it's soaking up telemetry, key logging, who you're talking to, when you're talking to them, chat messages, etc., right? And pushing it out, data exfiltration. Now, so obviously that's a major privacy invasion because you're not agreeing to be spied on, essentially. And now what they're talking about is that, at least in this story, they said they were targeting Muslim prayer apps, right? So you can obviously draw the easy conclusion that you're targeting a certain demographic of a population, but that couldn't even be at that, right? Like, let's target journalists who work at the Washington Post. Let's target people who are pro-abortion or pro-life or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, pick a polarizing topic, and then those are the people we're going to target to get, either dirt on them, find out the extent of their social network and what they're doing. Even think about this, guys. I mean, we're fortunate in the United States, but like, if you're in like a country where the regime runs as an authoritarian, don't correct me if I said that wrong. I don't think I did. I think I did say it wrong. But if there is a competing ruling party that is trying to usurp you or bring change to your regime, you can use this stuff to find out who they are and who they talk to. Think about like Amazon and the union busting and stuff like that's going on right now. So anyways, long story short, this isn't good. I'm glad Google banned the app. It says they allowed it back in after it was shown that the data harvesting elements were removed. But I didn't really hear anything about any type of accountability. It makes me wonder, is it even illegal to put this stuff on here if you say in the documentation that it could do this, this, and this? Like, are people willingly agreeing by clicking through a EULA? I don't know. This is scary. Also, doesn't surprise me. If you've watched any action thriller, suspense spy movie ever, like, they've got this functionality. So it is a reality.
Threat actors spoof WhatsApp voice message notifications. Security researchers at Armor Blocks outlined this new phishing campaign targeting Office 365 and Google Workspace accounts. This sends spoofed WhatsApp voice message emails sent with a legitimate domain belonging to the Center for Road Safety, an entity in Moscow. The campaign is estimated to have hit over 27,000 inboxes. Phishing emails include a link to play back the new private voicemail in WhatsApp. Once clicked, users are sent to a legitimate Center for Road Safety domain, but it appears the attackers are exploiting a deprecated or at least old version of this parent domain. Once there, the page asks users to verify that they are not a robot, with an allow pop-up leading to the installation of a malicious payload.
Oof. Okay. So interesting. Okay. So this is one potentially to bring back to your end user community. It's a phish, and they're not trying to steal credentials. It's a phish where the objective is to install malware on your device, which you get challenged through a pop-up and you click through and install. They're using WhatsApp. You get a message saying that you have a voicemail waiting for you, and then you go check it. Classic phish, right? Getting curious. Are you curious? You want to check this out? Sends into a seemingly real site, and then they install malware on their device. Guys, it's easy for me to say because I'm, an old, starting to get gray hair guy who doesn't have an interesting life. So maybe WhatsApp is really hot and people use it. I have it for like a couple family threads and that's it. If I got a voicemail from WhatsApp, like, get out of here. I'm not like, no, I don't answer numbers I don't recognize. It's sure as crap not going to respond to a voicemail from WhatsApp. So bump that. Maybe voicemail WhatsApp is hot right now. I don't know. But this is classic phishing. I think the key takeaway, if you're going to do like a quick little punch for end users, like aligned with the GRC module around security awareness, like a quick 30-second post, highlight the fact that the compromise happens when that pop-up comes up. So if you're getting the weird message or something like that, send you somewhere and you get a pop-up, be aware that that could actually lead to compromise of your device. So a lot of people are trained that phishing is for phishing their credentials, username, password in a landing page. And there are multiple delivery mechanisms or objectives for phishing beyond that.
AMD bug overclocks your CPU. AMD confirmed that a bug in its GPU drivers changes the settings of Ryzen CPUs in BIOS without user permission. Some users reported seeing auto-overclock CPUs, and AMD typically warns that overclocking CPUs voids its warranty. The company said it will share more information on the bug soon, but didn't provide any mitigation advice or estimated fix date. The bug seems tied to a Radeon Adrenalin driver from March 17th. The driver suite already added an auto-overclock feature in September 2021, but users are supposed to opt in.
Okay. I mean, this isn't a big deal for everybody. There's a bug that can allow overclocking. So on the surface, your machine will appear to be running faster, better performance, end users are happy, apps are speedier, but it voids the warranty of your AMD Ryzen. Again, maybe I live in a different world, but like, I'm not going after my warranty for my AMD chip, right? I'm probably going to try to return the computer itself, or if I built it myself, I would be like, oh, my processor failed. Like, I don't know. By the way, like, overclocking as a bug, guys, I am old enough to remember that, like, when computers used to be slow, like, overclocking was the jam. You would overclock to the max with a processor, right? I'm so old or whatever. Like there used to be a turbo button for anyone in here who remembers the 486 SXs, the gateway computers, the HP Packard Bell ones. There was literally a turbo button where you could like overclock, and you basically just left the turbo button enabled all the time. So whatever, little bug. There might be a patch for the AMD. I'm not really sure. I don't think that this is a major issue, but just know that overclocking can happen. Ryan knows the turbo button. Love it.
New security features. As part of a number of updates to the OS, Microsoft added Microsoft Defender Smart Screen, designed to detect if you're entering Microsoft account information into malicious apps or phishing sites in Edge. It's unclear if this only applies to apps from the Microsoft Store or any installed in a system. Another new feature is Smart App Control, which uses AI and code signing to ensure only trusted apps run on a PC. The company also allows customers to now sign into Azure Active Directory and Microsoft accounts with passwordless sign-ons. No word on when these features roll out.
Very cool. All right, guys. So I'm actually really happy about this, right? As much as we talked about in January, like Facebook was doing all these great things, pro security, pro privacy. And we were like, okay, is this just a lead up? So when Meta becomes the most invasive thing ever, they can point to like all the nice stuff they did. Meanwhile, Microsoft just released yesterday that GitHub scanner that will scan your code for secrets before you push to prod. Microsoft doing more. Windows 11 doing two things. One, detecting whether or not you're actually like being presented like a fake login page or like a landing page. This is going to be huge for educating end users, because end users are they're going to be using Windows 11 in your environment. So if you're getting presented some splash page that looks legit, but it's completely trash, it sounds like Windows 11 is going to be making an effort to tell you that this is potentially suspicious. Love that. Also, one thing that they said in here, which is there's a little bit of history here. They talked about smart app control that will use AI and code signing to make sure only trusted applications run on your PC. Okay, guys, let me take you down memory lane. There was a technology called Emmet, E-M-E-T. I'm like almost positive this was it. And it was basically allowed admins to whitelist apps to run on Microsoft. And it was really, really secure. Like it really was effective at not allowing malware to run on your computer. The problem is it was a real pain in the back to configure correctly. And then you have to whitelist like supporting apps and middleware and drivers and all this crap. And it became completely untenable. So Emmet would run and you would just right click, allow all, and then nothing broke. But of course, Emmet wasn't doing anything. What it sounds like this sounds like it's like round 2.0. And now that we have AI and single pane of glass, they're going to kind of offload that to AI essentially to help control what apps should run and what apps should not run. This is going to raise the level of difficulty for threat actors running malware on your machine, which is great. They can get fake certificates and they can fake code signing, but it's hard. And, obviously they can trick the AI, which I'm sure we'll hear about in 6 months when some crazy, clever threat actor comes up with a novel way to circumvent this, or a security researcher presents at Black Hat, 2023. But way to go, Microsoft. I genuinely appreciate that they're not trying to push out. Here's my thing. Microsoft isn't trying to push out, like, check out all these new features and capabilities. Look at this new emoji keyboard in Windows 11. It's like, yeah, you get the emoji keyboard, but you also get like these security functionalities. We're going to protect you from yourself. We're going to protect the organization from your machine. Like, way to go, Microsoft. Want to give you a high five. Like, this is spicy, but it's not really a spicy take. I'm just feeling really good. All right. So that's going to do it for our first things first for Thursday, April 7th. Stay with me, guys, because I just want to tease out a couple things. It's Thursday. You guys know what Thursday is. It's Cybersecurity Stream Thursday. You did Java with Josh. You did first things first. Get some work done. Move into 3:30 with Outpost Gray as we're talking about EQ, or Jax is going to be talking about EQ with author Christian Espinoza, who's also a wonderful individual, wonderful professional. That's going to be a great talk. And then grab an ice water, cozy up, get your most comfortable chair, and join me and Simply Cyber Live at 4:30 Eastern time to talk about the modern SOC analyst workflow. just so you guys know, this particular episode is going to be like a hybrid. Partially, I have a segment of it that's recorded because of time zone differences of where Ari and Roy are located and stuff like that. But it will be simply Cyber Live, just a little different. Shout out to Pull Root Repeat and Chad Reynolds for the squad support. Love it. All right. And then, guys, a new format that I had started, or I'm starting on this Friday at 4 p.m. called What's on Your Radar. I have basically want to do some every Friday at 4. What for senior practitioners, what is on your radar? Like, what is something that stood out that you're digging into? And the concept is I've asked maybe 20 different senior practitioners across the entire industry if they want to be part of this. And they said yes. So I have a stable of senior level practitioners. And I'm going to ask, hey, on Thursday, does anyone got something on their radar? And then, yes, okay, so you're going to be on tomorrow. So I don't even know who's going to be on each week. I don't know what we're going to be talking about. But really, I'm looking at you, people breaking in, or more specifically, like junior analysts, people a little bit newer to the industry, 1 to 3 years. So if 3 things come up, right? And like, how do you weigh these things? How do you weigh whether this is important and warrants additional looking, or this is important? And I'm hoping that the senior practitioner perspective can bring that experience, that industry knowledge to kind of highlight the why it showed up on my radar and what I'm doing about it on my radar. So this is a new show, a new concept, a new everything. We'll see how it goes. The maiden voyage is tomorrow at 4 p.m. So if you can't make it, no problem, but wish us luck as we try to launch a new show, a new concept that is designed to help practitioners in the field. That's the whole point of Simply Cyber, is to help practitioners or make people practitioners and then help them. Guys, I'll go back and watch chat. Thanks for all the squad support. Thank you for all you do. Lupe, congratulations. Rob, congratulations. You guys are the best. We will reconvene tomorrow. Well, today at 4:30 if you're with me. But if you're a first things first only person, that's totally cool. We'll be here tomorrow at 8 a.m. on Friday. Cheers, be good, and we'll see you out there.